gentlemen, before we continue with the senior band, we do have 3 presentations. The first of which is going to be made by Mackey, the South Carolina Band Directors Association Master Recital Chair. Our second presentation will be by Leslie Phillips, representative of the SCBDA.
The American School Band Directors Association is a national organization dedicated to the improvement of instrumental music education in our nation's schools. The SCBDA curriculum guide has been the standard for instrumental music education for over 60 years. The South Carolina chapter of the SCBDA supports the future of music education in our state by providing a scholarship for a graduating high school student who wishes to study music education in college. We are proud to announce that this year's scholarship winner is Jason Avinsky from the Charleston School of the Arts, Band Director Dustin King. Congratulations to Jason. Please stand and be recognized.
Next, we would like to welcome to the stage our 2025 South Carolina Band Directors Association Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Randy Grantham, accompanied by his family. Randy Grantham, a 1988 graduate of the University of South Carolina, dedicated 31 years to shaping young musicians as the director or associate director of 5 high school band programs. Even after retiring from Rockland High School in 2019, his passion for music education led him back into the classroom multiple times, serving as an interim director across several school districts. Under his leadership, bands have achieved remarkable success, earning multiple state marching band championships, Bands of America regional titles, superior concert performance ratings, and numerous SCBDA Outstanding Performance Awards. His contributions to the South Carolina Band Directors Association span over 25 years, where he has served as a region chairman, all-state committee member, and recipient of both the SCBDA Distinguished Service Award and the SCBDA Deborah Hoffman Mentor Award. Beyond his professional accolades, Mr. Grantham's legacy is reflected in the countless students and colleagues and programs he has influenced. He continues to serve as a mentor, adjudicator, clinician, and consultant, ensuring that the next generation of band directors carries forward his commitment to excellence. I have personally been a recipient of almost 18 years of his mentorship, and I'm honored band seated before you is our senior band and has been under the direction of Colonel Schofield of the U.S. Air Force Band. Colonel Schofield is the commander and conductor of the United States Air Force Band in Washington, D.C., overseeing 184 airmen musicians who perform nearly 1,600 missions annually, including at the White House, Arlington National Cemetery, and prestigious venues across the world. A distinguished conductor and educator, he has led military bands and professional ensembles across the globe, collaborating with renowned artists in a variety of genres. With an impressive career spanning leadership roles in multiple Air Force bands, Colonel Schofield continues to inspire through his musical excellence and dedication to service. Going to go off script just a little bit here because we've had the pleasure of experiencing his wonderful personality this weekend and many of his stories. So we're going to play a little short game here called Two Truths and a Lie. I'm going to tell you 3 stories, and your job is going to be to determine which one you think is the incorrect one. The first one is that he was bitten by a cheetah while at a sheik's house in Doha. Yes. The second was that he was wiretapped by the KGB. And the third is that he was in Saddam Hussein's palace with Kid Rock. So let's go. Who thinks the cheetah one is the incorrect one here? Cheetahs takers? All right. How about the KGB wiretap? All right, that got a lot of them. Okay. What about Saddam Hussein's palace? Oh yeah, that one right there. Little plot twist. All 3 of those are true stories. And this is the life of our service musicians. Tonight, the senior band will perform the following selections from their program. Dramatic Overture by James Barnes, Men of Ohio March by Henry Fillmore, arranged by Robert Foster, and Into the Living Pulsing World by Leslie Gilreath, which is a world premiere. One Life Beautiful by Giroux, and Let Me Be Frank With You by John Mackey. Please join me in welcoming the senior band.
On behalf of the South Carolina Band Directors Association, I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight and supporting these young performers. Our last performance will be conducted by Colonel Schofield.
Hello, I am Jason Novinsky, a senior flute player from Charleston County School of the Arts. Today we will begin our program with a piece called Dramatic Overture. It is a special honor to be able to perform this piece with Colonel Schofield, as it was commissioned for the Air Force Band in celebration of its 80th anniversary. It begins with the stark, powerful introduction of the main theme by the trombones and percussion, soon joined by the other brass, where the music moves into a dance-like allegro section. Dramatic brass statements, scampering woodwinds, and long, soaring melodies dominate this allegro section until the band slows down once again to present a dramatic fanfare based on the basic intervals of the opening theme. The work then ends with a flashy, energetic coda.
Please join us in welcoming the Commander and Conductor of the United States Air Force Band, Colonel Schofield.
Scout, and I am a senior bassoon player at Mondo High School.
A core part of military tradition is the pass and review, a process that has been around since the Revolutionary War to maintain discipline and to show respect for a commander. A pass and review gives the commander the opportunity to inspect or review the troop as they pass by in a regimented marching band. The pass and review has since morphed to have a grandiose ceremonial function as part of a parade from Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House in a prestigious White House dinner to honor the president.
This next piece, Men of Ohio, is one of Henry Fillmore's most beloved speeches, marches. The piece celebrates the state of Ohio and all of its prominent figures, including the 29th President of the United States of America, Warren G. Harding. This piece was chosen because this is the piece that is played by the U.S. Air Force Band, directed by Colonel Schofield at the White House State Dinner. Without further ado, this is Henry Fillmore's Men of Ohio.
This piece was commissioned for our 2025 SCBDA Senior All-State Band. We are thrilled to have the composer and our SCBDA president, Gilreath, with us in the audience tonight. This work is dedicated to Mr. Gilreath's friend and mentor, Mr. J. Beaucook. Into the Living Pulsing World seeks to capture the essence of the visionary spirit and deep emotions found in the evocative poetry of Paul Laurence Dunbar, one of the first African-American poets to gain national recognition. His work often explores themes of hope, resilience, and the inner conflict between dreams and reality. This composition brings to life the dichotomy of dreams as sources of inspiration and longing. It reminds us that while the clock keeps ticking and time drives forward, Dreams without action remain just wishes. The piece embodies the idea that without tangible steps toward our aspirations, even the grandest dreams can fade away. I hope you enjoyed this performance as much as we have enjoyed preparing it for you. This is Gilreath's Into the Living, Pulsing World.
one sense, it hints as the piece's message that having only one life is what makes life so sacred, tragic, and precious. The other sense refers to the person this piece is dedicated to, as in one life that was beautifully lived. One Life Beautiful is devoted to Heather Kramer, a dedicated member of her community and a mother of 4 young children who was killed in a car accident. It grieves life's fragility and celebrates its beauty at the same time, portraying what it truly means to live one's life beautifully. Please enjoy Julie Giroux's One Life Beautiful.
Colonel Schofield. The mission of the South Carolina Band Directors Association, our catchphrase is music is instrumental to success, and that success reaches far beyond the music that you hear performed. And I can't, after spending a weekend with Colonel Schofield, I cannot think of someone who more embodies that and is a great example to these students who are on stage in the senior band who are about to go out into the world, someone to model that. So we are very appreciative. Thank you for spending time with our students this weekend.
Moms and dads, would you do me a favor and raise your hands, please, right now? Now, put your hands down. Raise your hand if you're a mom and a dad with no musical background. A lot of you. First of all, let me say thank you. My mom still comes to my band lessons. Yeah. Roberta is not a musician. Roberta really doesn't know that the Air Force Band is one of the best bands in the world. All she sees is Donnie performing up there on stage, as he's done since 7th grade. Parents, I want to give you a framework for what we have done in the past 2 days. And this is a framework for music education and why it's important. And the first thing that I'm going to say sounds really controversial. What we've done this weekend is not about the music. It's not what it's about. The music enables the things that I'm going to talk about next. Over the past 2 days, we've talked about leadership. We've worked on followership. We've worked on owning failure and sharing success. What it's like to be prepared. What it's like to succeed as a team. What it's like to take risk. All of those attributes, friends, are what you want in your kids. You may not see it on a daily basis, but the maturity, the leadership, and more importantly, the followership that I've seen over the past 2 days is enormous. Consider that 2 days ago, this band had never met each other. And then we're on stage right now creating intimate trust. The music that you just heard in that, the swells, the tempo changes were not pre-programmed, friends. That is a group of people trusting each other. The leadership and the followership. That is, my friends, what music education is about. And there is no other activity in our curriculum that covers it as effectively, as emotionally as music education. I'm proud to stand on this stage with these students and be here with their accomplishments. A world premiere of Leslie Gilreath. When he sent that to me, I thought, oh my gosh, this is a really hard piece of music, and we're not going to be able to put it together in 2 days. And they did. And I do want to take one more opportunity to thank Leslie on behalf of me, the students on stage, and the South Carolina band directors for his incredible contribution to our literature. One more round of applause for Leslie. It's been wonderful to be here over the past 2 days, and let me caveat this with, it's been wonderful to be anywhere except Washington, D.C. for the past 2 days. I wanted to say that. Spending time with your students, with your children, is a highlight for me. And our job as leaders is to prepare the next generation of leaders. And my friends, they're on stage right now. They're the engineers. They are the police officers. They are our teachers. They are the next generation of parents. Another round of applause for the next generation, ladies and gentlemen.
by John Mackey in the midst of the 2020 COVID pandemic. This piece features driving percussion, soaring melodies, and an infectious spirit. The name of this final work comes from the person whom he got this inspiration from, Frank Kelly, a person who was able to write Minutes of Joyful Fun. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this afternoon in support of these young musicians, and please enjoy John Mackey's Let Me Be Frank with You.